Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for joining us here on a Friday. End of the day. Again, this is one more session of the Vibe Coding Club here in Lisbon. It's a place where we talk, share ideas, knowledge about vibe coding, this new emerging trend on product building. We also recorded here almost like a live podcast kind of event. And today we are joined here by Carlos Almeida. I'm Felipe, founder of Octagon Labs, your host, sponsored also by Comudal. And Carlos will talk with us a little bit about his experience as a vibe coder and also as someone that is working professionally and has delivered projects, whether it's for customers or personally using vibe coding. And in the end, like we've been doing on the previous sessions, we will also have a little bit of a kind of show and tell where Carlos will also show a little bit of his work that he can share and also talk a little bit about his stack. And of course, there's always place for questions and answers at the end. Carlos, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining. Maybe you can start and tell us a little bit about yourself and Less Code Studio and what you've been doing.
For sure. So I'm Carlos, founder of Less Code. Less Code is a company where we develop software for companies. And we mostly use vibe coding tools like Bolt.ai, Lovable, Replit. Sometimes we go a little bit with code editing and we use Cursor, and that's pretty much it. I will say 95% of the code that we ship is made by these tools, and the 5% is where we have to review some security issues or sometimes even to save some tokens because tokens are expensive, and sometimes we have to not be lazy and check up the work, and sometimes we have to edit one line of code. Why waste so many tokens to fix that? And that's what we do. We ship software to many industries, and at the same time I'm also a full stack developer at Alternix. We also do software, internal tools, and most of those tools are made by vibe coding tools. And that's a resume of what I do.
So overall, whether it's Less Code or Alteryx, you're mostly engaging with AI to build this products, right? So you say 95% of the code is actually written by AI.
Exactly. Time is precious, and do two jobs in the same day, it's hard. And to save time, we have to be smart and use these tools. If we can reduce a lot of time doing the job, why would I write all the code when the AI can do for me? Of course, there's some limitations in some types of software, and sometimes I have to do some manual work. But mostly, I try to be as lazy as I can be and ship all the work to the AI.
Okay, but that's so. Maybe tell us a little bit more about then your process, right? So, because and most of the projects that you do end up being deployed to production and being used by real users, right?
Exactly.
Is that something that's common, right? And I think that's something that people always ask a little bit about or say it's like, oh, vibe coding is good for prototyping, vibe coding is good only to do some small mock-ups here and there. But you're kind of on the other spectrum where you've been actually shipping products and you say 95% of the code is written by AI. Maybe it's not 100%, but it's already a pretty solid number when it comes to reducing the iteration time. Can you tell us maybe a little bit more about how do you achieve that, and maybe if possible share a few of examples of these projects and how you undertook them?
Normally, depends on a project. Some projects already exist, made by other people or other companies, and there's projects where we start over.
Sorry.
When we start over, I think it's easier because you have control in everything we're doing. And normally I try to brainstorm the product we are making with ChatGPT. We brainstorm features, the architecture. I know this is more like the tech savvy, but when you try to ship a product that goes to production, I think the very first prompt we use, it's the most important. Because the first prompt used in these AI tools, they will dictate the architecture of the product we are developing. And imagine we are doing a project, and mostly is like a front end with a Supabase integration, for example. Supabase is a tool for databases and authentications. And then we are in the middle of the project, and we need some more complex back-end feature we cannot do in the Supabase. So we have to, in our project, have a little back-end to process this kind of systems. And then you create a project with Vite and Supabase, and then, oh well, so Vite doesn't have a back-end, and it's a full front-end with React.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, now I need to transform this project in a Next.js app or do a backend in Python. And then you are in the middle, and then you go to these tools. Okay, I want to change this to Next.js. And you're starting over all the files, redoing everything. And then what happens most of the time is a lot of errors will appear. You will waste a lot of tokens trying to fix those errors. And you will lose a lot of time. And what I try to do is try to think of the features we want to launch on that product. And we will need a backend, more sophisticated. It's a simple project we can do entirely on Supabase. And then after brainstorming with ChatGPT, we take that brainstorm, go for example for Lovable or Bold, we passed on it, and then we use the enhanced prompt, the feature they have, and then organize even better.
Okay.
Even better the prompt, and then press go.
But no, that's a really interesting approach. You mentioned a lot of technical stuff throughout this, right? You mentioned Vite, you mentioned Supabase, you mentioned Next.js. Do you feel that that knowledge is necessary?
I think that knowledge is valuable. It's really important, but not really necessary, because you can brainstorm with an AI, but you can explain that you don't understand the technical part, and try to say the AI to do that for you. And I think you will go pretty well. There's only limitations. Imagine you trying to do a product that's really complex.
Of course.
And you probably will create a good prototype, but not the production
ready product.
Production
right?
ready.
So
Exactly.
in a way, even if you don't know how to code, if you want to reach to a level where you build production ready products, it's kind of important to at least have some concepts of the ones that you mentioned, right? What is it like? Even thinking architecturally, you use a Supabase for this, you use a Vite for that, or or you choose Python over Node. Um, what are
Uh,
your thoughts on that, based on your experience?
I think it's always important to know some basics. At least try to learn what is a database, what is an API, those basic terms, and then just try to launch a product. I think that's really the most important part, is to start, because most people don't start, and sometimes the ideas are so simple that they will achieve that production ready without knowing that it's production ready.
Yeah, production ready in the end is just being live on a website, right? It
Exactly,
can
because
be something that just, if you don't have authentication or even a database, something that's more appealing in a way is
if you
production.
look at startups, most of the softwares are not production ready. They just
That's
launch
a good
and
point.
they just launch
That's a good point.
try to get clients to try for them, to give feedback, and then iterate on that. I think the really important part is to launch.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Now, going back a little bit to your process, you mentioned that the first prompt is very important because you define the architecture, right? So, how much, on your experience, do you have an approach where you put everything? Do you usually try to give the entire vision of the product on the first prompt, or just the architectural guidelines and then you build upon it? So guide us through that process. Um,
So I think my process is a bit different from a beginner, because
okay.
I mostly already know what type of architecture I will use. Uh, Maybe in some cases where I'm trying something really new and I don't know the best way to do it, and I try to see. I already know which type of tools I will use, but sometimes there are tools that I don't know that maybe do the same work for less time. So the process is really that. I try to brainstorm first the idea, because sometimes I have an idea for a product, but I don't really understand the industry
Mm-hmm.
that I'm doing the product for, and I try. I have a version of on my Cloud a system prompt where I have defined a line where it tries always to define me. So normally these tools, they say, "Oh, you're right," and
Yeah.
always agree with you. And I have a system prompt to do the opposite. It will always challenge the ideas that I have, and that's the way I do it. I have a vision for the product. It will say, "No, in this industry, the most important value you can provide is this, and that." And with that brainstorm, I try to. That is where I define the product.
Okay.
So I have ideas, but ideas are just ideas. Sometimes.
Can you maybe share a little bit more in concrete, maybe a recent example of something that you built? You mind just at least, so we can have a better understanding of that process. You don't need to enter into details of customers and so on and so forth, but giving an example of the type of product that you've been building, and even if it's relevant, how the client interaction happened, and how you get that started.
So the most interesting project, it was a recent one, where we did an AI agent.
Okay.
Um, and that AI agent is a, let's say, inside sales person. Okay. It will have a list of emails to send. It will receive emails. It will send emails, and when it's not 100% sure of about the subject, it will redirect the email to a colleague. It's like, okay, I will send to a human to treat this subject. And that was a really challenging project, because first I never created an agent,
Okay.
so I didn't have really the knowledge how most agents on the market worked. And in that project, there was a really big brainstorm with AI to try to define the technology that I will use. If using React, if I should use an API to send the emails, if I should In this case, I built the API to send the emails because I didn't want to pay. I already have a SMTP server, so why would I pay?
That's fair. That's what vibe coding is for, right?
So I built the API.
You build it and you don't pay, right?
Exactly.
You build it, you don't buy.
And then I built the API. It was really simple.
So breaking it down, right? So inside sales agent, a lot of brainstorming on the architecture, right? So you have a deep conversation on what it is, what's the technology, what was kind of the outcome of that conversation?
Well, in that conversation, we come to the conclusion that wasn't. I'm not saying that we use the best architecture, but we use the best architecture for the time frame that I had to do that project. And then
how much was the time frame?
3 days, maybe.
3 days. Okay.
It was.
That's a pretty tight time frame. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And so we developed the project. We used React for the front end. We had a Python backend for sending the emails, to interact with ChatGPT to do the agent decisions about what to do with their email. And it's incredible because the most challenge was not really the software. It was the configuration of AI, because you have to create a system prompt, you had to fine-tuning that system prompt, and that was what take most of the time, because we did some internal testing. We tried to trick multiple times the AI to give some information or to go out of the scripting that it has. And I think we lost more time on that really developing the project.
Okay. Yeah, but that's pretty good. And so, what stack did you use then? So,
in terms of the AI, we use Bolt. New. And most of the work was there. And then there was a time that I'm not remember what I was trying to do. I think I was trying to use a package from React, and Bolt.new was blocking the installing that package because they have some limitations on that. So I had to download the project, and I installed the package, and then I went on and did the rest of the project with Cursor.
Okay. All right. So still vibe coding on another environment, a more local. Okay.
Pretty much I didn't touch the code. I used the AI part of the Cursor. Do this, do that.
Okay. So how much would you think this would take you if you didn't have these tools?
I think it will take a lot of time, especially because I'm not an expert on React.
Okay.
So I will probably use another, maybe plain HTML, jQuery, maybe, who knows.
It's fair.
And probably take, I don't know, 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay. And you did it in 3 days. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
What's the biggest value that you see on vibe coding and using AI as an assistant?
I think it's the speed.
Right.
The speed that you are shipping features and developing a new project. It's really addicting. It's not addicting when you come with a lot of problems and try to fix, and then more problems happen. But when done right, I think it's pretty addicting, and it's really fast. It's the most valuable thing on the...
No, I agree. I experienced the same, and I think it's definitely one of the... Again, I think you do need, especially if you want to go into production, you do need a level of understanding how systems are built.
Special for security, yes.
Yeah, and but in the end, you know that you need to use React, but you don't know how to write React syntax, so you...
I still don't know React. I know some basics, but I don't.
You don't need it. No, that's very, very, very cool. And so, tell me a little bit more now also about, again, the tools, because you've already mentioned Cursor, Bolt. You're going to show us a product made in Lovable. You mentioned Claude. What is your stack, and how do you choose what to use and when?
Depends always on the project. I think you can do any type of, most of type of projects in any of those tools,
Okay.
but some tools are faster than others. Bolt and Lovable, I think they are really fast on the front end side, and interacting with Supabase, they're really good. At the beginning, they weren't good, but now they are really good.
Okay.
And when you have a simple CRUD app, create, read, update, delete, most of the modules are like that. I think those tools with Supabase are really fast. If you still have some more processing that you cannot execute on Supabase with edge functions or something like that, I think you can use Replit, because Replit has a more advanced backend side,
All right.
or Base 44. Base 44 is actually good for this type of apps with the most advanced backend. They also have Python, so you can go a little tech savvy on that. And sometimes, most of the times, I create a prototype on those tools, and then to finish, to go production ready, I download the project and go a little on Cursor and try to
on Cursor. So starting prototyping, first prompts, architecture on something like a Lovable or a Bolt, iterate there, transfer to the local environment, do the 5% to get it production ready. No, that's. When did you start this? Doing this kind
I'm
of.
not really sure when I did start. It looks like it was a long time ago, but probably 3 to 4 months.
Okay. Did you have Less Code Studio before, or you started Less Code Studio when you realized that you had this small superpower on your hands where you can speed up?
I already had Less Code Studio. We are already shipping some software to companies, but it was really all manual.
Okay.
We already use Claude to do some coding, but the coding was really made on the main website. I wasn't using any tool to do that. And then I copied the code, passed on the IDE. It was VS Code, I think. And then GitHub Copilot came along, and I tried to iterate on that. And then these vibe coding tools appear out of nowhere, and I think I was maybe seeing YouTube shorts, and they came up. I have to try that, and start to.
And you got hooked.
Yeah, and I tried some prototypes. Whoa, this is amazing, really fast. And then I tried to do as most as possible on that.
Nice. What advices do you have for someone that wants to start or grow their own vibe coding practice or style?
I think if you have any idea of a product you want to do, just try it. It's free. You have a limited tokens, but you can try some ideas on that. And if you are stuck, if you are afraid to be stuck on the errors, just go to YouTube. There's a lot of videos on there, and you can really learn fast how to do most of the projects. Because most of the projects were already made, most of the ideas already exist.
It's fair.
And there's already someone that did it, and you can try to copy. Probably there's a YouTube video somewhere where someone did that project and showed, and record a video and try to learn as much as possible. Content is free, and there's a lot of content on the internet.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true. No, that's so. What's next for Less Code Studio?
I don't know. It's ship more products, I think. We still have a lot of projects.
How do your customers know clearly the approach that you have? Are you fairly open with them? How do they react when you say, look?
Some customers, yes, others no. I really don't think it's important because the clients want the product.
Okay.
They want the product done and you deliver it. That's the most important.
They don't care if it's AI built or not.
They want the product.
They want the product is working.
Since it works, if it works, it's fine.
Cool. questions from the audience here to Carlos before we jump into a more also show and tell where he will show a little bit of his stack and process. Pedro.
I would say, like, as a newcomer to programming and vibe coding, using AI products, what would you say would be the best first project to do? Website, like, would you jump straight into a SaaS?
That's a good question.
That's risky because normally SaaS are more complex and people will try it and something will not work and they will give up probably. Try to do. Most people I know they try to do a to-do list because most videos showing up these apps they have a to-do example. And I don't know, do a project where you can manage your tasks in work, something like that, and then try to iterate, create more cool feature on that software, and then try, when you understand how it works, how you have to communicate with these tools, how to write the prompts better, then try to do a more advanced project, I would say.
Yeah, but yeah, to-do list is a good example, right? Because it's actually an example that they give you as tutorials to learn new languages. So in a way, it's a way for you to see how fast you can do something that maybe someone learning a new language would take 2 or 3 days, and
I
you
think
can do it in.
large language models are already so well trained on that example, they will never fail.
That's good. That's a good example. More questions here for Carlos.
I have another one. It's more of a...
There. No, go ahead. I'll just. I have that.
Okay. It's more of as a comment. You mentioned the tokens usage, and I think there's a risk now that we try to use AI for everything, right? So, for instance, if you have an API and you are getting static data, you use AI, you put everything there, and use AI to organize that. When you all want to know one thing, and you get all these data. So I think there's a risk there that we tend to use more and more AI when we don't really need it. It's like killing a fly with a cannon, kind of.
That's a good point, actually. So on this point, how do you manage like token usage, not overkilling using AI, when again maybe you don't need something that powerful? Because you spoke a little bit about the token costs, right?
What I do to reduce it's not really reduce the token uses, is try not to give many tasks at the same time to the AI, because that will increase the probability of getting a random error. What I try to do is giving small tasks to the AI, even though probably we'll spend more tokens, because every time you ask in the AI to do something, you probably will create a context that will fetch the code that you already have on the code base, and then you will ask to do that task, and every time you do that, you will get the context again, ascend again. But at the same time, when you try to define the tasks as simple as possible, you're also reducing the risks of errors. And sometimes errors will cost you. Trying to fix an error will cost you a lot of tokens. So that's how I do it.
Okay, so that's actually an interesting thought, right? So never give too much tasks at once, because it might create future costs, and solving issues, it's costly, and the answer to that is actually smaller tasks. Exactly. Which temporarily might look like that you're increasing costs, but you are preventing future
errors
costs
that will cost you even more tokens.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah.
There and then there.
Okay, so my question is not so much about product development, but I'm not an expert at Let's Code Studio. But could you about the commercial side. So how do you make it a product? How do you approach your wannabe customers?
So, where first we're trying to think of a problem that the market or a specific industry might have, and then you, like I said, you brainstorm with AI, try to figure out the product. If you know someone who works on that industry, try talk to them and see what it's the pain they have in the daily job, and then you try to create a tool for that, and then you try to contact as much people as possible on that industry, and then pray they will respond to you. That's how we do it.
So, but you create already some kind? Okay, let's say I'm gonna start reaching out to, I don't know, pharmaceutical people. Do you brainstorm? You find some ideas. Do you kind of create some kind of already vibe code of the product that you use has a way to enter or open the door? Like, hey, here's this new product, and then you use that to close a bigger sale? Have you tried that approach? Or?
So we try not to, we create a simple prototype
Okay.
of that product, not try to spend as much time as possible, maybe wasting time on features that we'll not use, and then try to schedule as much demos as you can, show up the prototype, and then if they talk about a feature that you don't have, you can say we can add that in really short time frame, and you try to close the deal. I will never try to vibe code in front of them, building the features, but
we're still not there yet.
we're still not there yet. And we can, when they talk about new feature, oh, okay, we can schedule a new meeting in 1 week, and then we build those features, and then we show up again. If they are interested, then we
yeah, but that always creates some kind of impact, right? If you speak with them and say in 1 week we'll speak again, and then you come up with something really new and was like, whoa, you already shipped this, it creates some level of impact.
I builds reputation.
That's good. That's good. Thank you, Carlos. We had one more question there, then there.
I had not a question, but a comment to the previous point about the about tokens.
Tokens, yeah.
Yeah, I spent like 2 years probably finding out what LLM is better for my task and for the task of my project, and I came up to the idea that the best thing that first of all, for the majority of tasks, we don't need OpenAI, we don't need ChatGPT, we don't need Anthropic. Any open source model is enough to do some kind of a lot of tasks actually. So for my project, I don't use OpenAI API or Cloud API because it's too expensive actually. And open source model costs 7 times lower than OpenAI model. So that's why I'm using this this model, and I advise to use open source model from Grok, for example. Llama and Mistral are great for the most of tasks with text, with text, with some kind of basic data analysis. So we don't need this the capability of OpenAI to write text for social media, for example. But it's quite expensive. So.
No, that's a good point. Thank you for sharing. Using open source models as an alternative, it's definitely an option and a good alternative. As you especially start being able to install your own and manage your own open source models, there's definitely a good answer to the token usage.
Content projects, and both of them cost like from 5 to 10 euros per month.
That's good. Yeah, that's
using Mistral and Llama.
That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good cost optimization. Thank you, Sergey. Question there also?
What type of projects do you usually make at Less Code, and what's the complexity level of them? Because I speak from experience, and as as the complexity starts to get bigger, the AI models tend to lose their efficiency in these tasks.
So the type of projects we do mostly are CRMs, internal tools, and some integration tools, internal tools basically. When the client already has a software that is closed source, they don't have access to the code, and they want to do some integrations and some automations. That's the type of projects. I feel you about big code bases. I think big code bases are a bit harder to manage if you're not tech savvy, because I think the LLMs will start to sometimes hallucinate, repeat some functions in terms of code efficiency. Most of the times they don't really produce the best code. If you really care about that, if you really care about releasing features and make the clients happy, most of the times that really isn't important. But I will say for a beginner it will be much harder to manage these projects, because if they rely entirely on the AI side, they will probably create a new feature, and the feature they released 2 weeks ago will not work for some reason, some conflict, and I think there you really need to understand better the code base you're working on. We have some projects where we are already working with really big code base, and I think I will not be able to if I didn't understand the tech part of it.
That makes sense. You mentioned something interesting, which is that you actually know that these LLMs most of the time don't produce good code. How much does that matter?
As a tech background, it creates a itch in my head a bit. But as I work more and more, when I build my company, I realize that clients really don't care about that.
Okay.
And you need to be okay with that. You need to be efficient. We need to be fast in launching the products to reduce the cost, the hours you spend on it. And I think it's that. It's really not important.
Okay. But yeah, I can get that it's difficult for someone who writes code and knowing that it's not the perfect code, but going ahead with that. One last question before we get Carlos to show his little project he vibe coded yesterday, so you can also share. One more question, is there?
How do you see vibe coding changing in like 5 to even 1 year, 2 years? How do you see it's going to improve or change?
I think these tools will. I think they will become much better at big code bases, because I think as the context window of these LLMs increase, they become less efficient, and I think they will work on that. And if they improve that efficiency, I think we probably rely more on those vibe coding tools, because we can trust the code it's producing. We can trust you will know the entire project, the real entire project, not just a part of it. I think that's the key to improve maybe the memory, how much you can remember on the code base, and if they can increase the memory and reduce a bit the hallucinations they have as the context model increase, I think that will be the one-on-one tool to go. I think programming manually will be less important to most companies. If you are an AI company, may not be as good as to know how to code, because it's a new field, and I think we still don't really understand that field. And But that's it. I think the most of companies will use these tools to build their entire internal projects.
Cool. Thank you, Carlos. It was a pleasure to have you. Before we end up, what did you brought us today? What are you going to show us?
So I made a game yesterday. I made a game on Lovable. It was based on a game my kid has in this camera. He has a camera for kids, and then he has mini games, and I really like that mini game, and I try to do the same on Lovable, and that's what I'm showing. It's a really
Go
simple
ahead.
game.
Pick up on the computer and guide us through what you've built and.
For sure. So this is a simple game. I did 9 levels manually because we have a level editor and a leaderboard. And this game is pretty simple. You have to put the boxes on the green dots. And it's you can play on mobile or on the web. And this is how it works. Yay!
Nice.
And then we
Is
have these are the same levels as the original game.
nice?
How much time did it take you to do it?
So, creating the game, I will say max 2 hours, and another an hour and a half maybe to create the levels, because I had to go to the camera and see the levels and try to do the same on here. The level is pretty simple, but it takes a bit of time.
What features did you add? Does it have users? Is this kind of the interface for everyone, or this is kind of more of a admin interface?
So the level creation is only for my user, so I
Okay.
can create the levels.
So
for
there are
users.
users.
Yeah, there is authentication, and then we have
Okay,
the leaderboard.
cool.
I try with 2 accounts.
Is this production
Yeah, it's
ready?
online.
Is it online?
It's online.
Okay.
I can then copy this to a QR code if you want to try it. So we have authentication. The authentication problem could be simple. Maybe I could make a log in with Google or something, but 2 hours is 2 hours. And then we have a sign up. So here I can log in my account,
Nice.
and then we have the levels. And
And you can create new levels if you
yeah,
want.
I can go
Okay.
here, create a grid, create where the player starts.
Nice.
Then we have the boxes, and we have the targets, and
So
we have the walls.
Nice.
It's pretty simple, but I think it's a good showcase.
No, I mean,
That you can use these tools not only for websites or SaaS, you can also create simple games.
can you show us a little bit the prompts that you used? Is it possible? How was the conversation with?
I can show you the last prompt I did yesterday that it was the leaderboard was incorrect. So
Okay.
the leaderboard is supposed to be who does more levels in less steps. And yesterday it was showing I created a new account, and then the account had only 1 level, and it was in first place. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to do the 9 levels and then
Okay.
compare the. And I just say the leaderboard should be most levels completed and less steps, and then you fix. I think I have a. Oh, the boxes were a bit round, so I said to make it more like a box,
Nice.
and that's pretty much it. I try to be.
Very.
We don't need to be really technical. I think the first prompt is really
No,
important.
that's very technical. Can the boxes be less round? To look, no, that's very
can just
technical
speak-
terms.
You can just speak to it like a person, and you will try to. So if you want to try it out, I can.
Why did you use Lovable? Why did you choose Lovable for this?
I choose Lovable because the main one that I use is Bolt on You, and I want to try the capabilities of Lovable.
Okay.
And my opinion is Lovable and Bolt are the same product. It's
Okay.
it's really the same. They work really well with the front end and with Supabase for back end, and
Okay.
that's why
So
I
so
realized.
the when you mention it works really well with Supabase as backend, what does that mean?
So what I mean about that is not only creating the databases, but also creating the rules to access that data,
Okay.
like the permissions, so a user can see only their own data and all the type of rules.
That's on the Supabase side.
Supabase side.
Okay.
Everything about the backend is on the Supabase side. Then you have edge functions that then you can put some custom code on it, and AI will do that for you too. And most of the times you want a database, you want some rules on the records, what the user can see and cannot see, and that's most of the apps I create.
So all of these levels, in the end, they are mimicked on the database on Supabase. They persist on.
Yeah. So I give permission only for my user. Only my user can create the levels, and then it stores as JSON on the database.
Oh, it's a JSON.
It's a JSON. Yeah.
Okay.
With the coordinates of where is the box, where is the.
So you don't have any relation. So building the database for this, right? Was it you?
No. This was really vibing.
Really vibing.
I didn't even brainstorm. I already know what game I wanted to do because I already have a base to copy on it.
Okay.
And I was really trying to test the platform.
No, it looks
And
really.
the really good way to test if the platform is good is try to be lazy at first, see if you can make up most of your lack of data or
Yeah.
or
So yeah, Pedro,
support.
instead of a to-do list, you can do a game.
In 2
It-
hours, yeah.
In 2 hours. Any questions on this? Any comments over there?
Hey, Carlos. Thanks for sharing that. Your initial prompt, do you, in this particular example, do you specify the game like a specification, a software specification, or you just said build Soccerban and you did so?
Can you show?
First, I didn't. I don't know.
Do you think you can get back to the initial prompt?
First, I didn't know the name of the game,
There you
so
go.
I really explained how the game works.
Classic Call of Duty game, by the way.
I know it's classic because I didn't know the name. So let's be the web game where we have levels where the character has to move the boxes, pushing them to the circles. The movement will be square by square and not free movement. We also should have a level editor to create levels. That's the prompt I use.
Do you have the same strategy for enterprise products, for your clients? or
No,
you
enterprise
have
products I don't do this
more
type of
mature
prompts.
approach?
I try to be more specific and the tech stack, even the UI, if I want to use ShadCN or other library. And then I try to enhance, because both have the little button, you can enhance the prompt. And then I post it, not like this. This was really to test the platform.
That's really cool.
And I didn't know the name of the game. So then I learned about it. I went to Google, because he created the database name was the name of the game. So, and I tried to learn why he did that name, and then I discovered that was really the name of the game.
So what is this approved action, for example? I'm curious. What
This is to push the. This is. I think this is changes to database. So when I
okay.
say to do some structural, even to create a new field because I want a new feature, it will say, okay, I need to do this change to the database, and I click apply, and I don't
Yeah.
even know what it's doing.
Do you speak with it at some point brainstorming, or you just give actions after action after action?
Yeah, I think most of the projects is action after.
After action, just
Yeah.
do this, do that, do that, do that. Interesting.
Because I say something, if it's not really like I want, okay, fix this and fix that.
Okay, interesting.
I think the structure is really on the first prompt, and then I just become lazy.
Okay, that's really cool. Questions on
I have one question. How have you done UX there?
I'm sorry?
UX, like
The user experience. In this case, I really didn't care much. I just tried to experiment on the phone. It needs to work on the phone. There were some issues about the experience. I tried to fix them because on the phone we have a circle buttons to make the character move, and there were some bugs where you click once and it was like going all the way. But after that, I really didn't think much about it.
So you did
I tried to make it responsive on the phone because this is more like a game for the phone. Like
You did all the design, or you had to have the...
oh, here the design I didn't say anything. I leave it to it to do because I didn't have any idea how I wanted to do it, and the classical game also doesn't have a really fancy UI, so I try to be as fast as possible.
No, have you shown it to your kid?
Not yet, not yet.
He will be the final tester.
He doesn't touch the phone. He doesn't use the phone, so
Good.
try to keep off the screen.
More questions, if there's any. I don't think so. I think we're also, coming to an end. Carlos, thanks a lot for coming here today, telling us a little bit about your experience, sharing, and taking the time to build this for the session today. It was a pleasure to have you. Again, thanks everyone also for joining us here on Friday end of the day. We'll have more events coming. Next Friday there's a new one also coming on Beato this time with Dick Hart. We're going to have very interesting deep dive conversation also on identity topics besides all these activities. But identity on the agentic era, it's also a new type of event that we're doing here on Vibe Coding Club, which is going deeper on specific topics. And we have a bit more prepared over time. Things like meet and builds, finally, it's something people are requesting a lot. We have those things under planned. Thank you for coming. Keep following us and see you there.